Okay, well, welcome everyone again, and thank you, San Diego Housing Commission, for this opportunity. Today's class is going to be managing income and expenses. We are going to be getting information, delivering information about the importance of having a spending plan, which is a budget. We're also going to talk about how you're going to build that spending plan. How can you do follow-ups to make sure that everything is working out? Last week, the seminar was on setting goals and priorities. So we're going to be offering a series of financial literacy seminars that kind of help you to really gain that goal of achieving your financial goals, getting more information, getting knowledge on how you are going to manage your finances. Very important to understand is that it's not how much money we earn, it's how we manage. That is the bottom line. It's how we manage that money. We can be earning $10 an hour, $15 an hour, or $8. But you know, at the bottom, the bottom line is that if we manage that money correctly, if we manage that money wisely, it is going to be okay. It is going to be sufficient, and it's going to help us put a base on how to build some goals for the future. So very important. Money management is not how much we earn; it's how we manage that money. Okay, so managing income and expenses. Once again, my name is Beatrice Mauersberg, and I am a financial wellness educator with MMI. My information, if you would like extra information or extra resources, you can always reach the workforce ladies at San Diego. They have my information, they have my email, and I'll be gladly will be able to do a follow-up if it's needed. Also, as I go in the class today, in the session today, I'm going to be talking about some worksheets and also a workbook that I have shared with it for this class. So if you have received it and you were able to download it, great. If you have not been able to download that workbook, don't worry about it. You're going to be getting it, or if you're able to download it later on. But if you have any trouble opening the document, just let us know. Also, because I have power of the screen right now, excuse me. Right now, I am not able to see any comments or any questions that you may be asking.
I didn't get a workbook. I don't know what you're talking about.
The workbooks. Okay, you will be
I've been
getting
sending
the
them to
workbook.
you. They come with the link, the attachment that's on the link. I will send it to you once again right now, John C. But each link for this workshop
yes,
has a workshop, has an attachment to it with a book.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'll have to look at that.
Don't worry about it.
I received the email with the link. I mean, with the link,
okay.
And I did get the book, the little book.
Okay, great, wonderful. If you have been open it, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just listen, take notes.
Okay.
And once you're able to open it, then you'll be able to kind of review the information that we're gonna go over, and then you can apply it and then reinforce it while you read the information. So don't worry about it. Okay, don't worry about it.
Thank you.
I see it.
You're welcome, Ms. Williams. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Davis, also.
And the Zoom calendar, or it's a separate email?
The email I sent this morning at 8 o'clock, I think I sent it about 7 or 8 this morning. That said, reminder, workshop today, here's the booklet.
I don't think I got that email. I just clicked into the...
I'll send it to you right now, John C. I'll send it right now.
Thank you. Sorry, ma'am.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Okay, great. All right. So, but yeah, don't worry about it. Everyone will get the materials. Well, I'm just like to kind of, as we go over in the presentation, I will say, hey, this is one of the forms that you have. Okay, so managing income and expenses. So that is the topic that we are going to be covering today. One thing very important to keep in mind is some key concepts that I am going to stressing all over the seminar. And then the number one, it is important to know your net income. It is important to know the net income of a household before any budgeting can happen, before we're able to start a spending plan. Concept number two is that to gain financial control, it is necessary to identify all the expenses, and we're going to go over in detail about that. Key concept number three, it is quite easy to forget small expenses, but usually those add up to become a significant amount at the end. So for this reason, it is very necessary to know exactly what your spending is. And one of those forms, I will talk more about it, it's called the daily record of expenditure, and we'll go over that. Key concept number four is that be aware of your financial situation. It's very important to know our current financial situation, including income and expenses. It is important for financial security. Key concept number five is that looking at decreasing monthly expenses by you considering cheaper alternative, finding ways of how to adjust your expenses, how to reduce expenses, because all these alternatives can really help to decrease overall monthly expenses, and then they are going to help you achieve your financial goals at the end, okay? Once again, I do encourage for you to take notes, also encourage you to write your questions in the chat area. I am not able to see the questions right now while I have the power of showing my screen, but we'll have plenty of time at the end to go over some of your questions or some of your comments that you may have. So please, I encourage you to do that. Who we are, Money Management. We are a non-for-profit credit counseling and education agency. We are available to offer counseling 24 hours, 7 days a week. More information, you can find it in our website, which is moneymanagement.org. And at the end of the presentation, you'll have a slide where it has the website and the phone number where you're able to reach us. Okay, so this is the topics that we're gonna be covering. Where do I start? Okay, where do I start and how I am going to be starting, okay? We're gonna be covering where to begin to gain control of your financial situation. The next thing that we're gonna be covering is determining net income. And here we're gonna cover payments that are taken directly from your paycheck, and will you do your net income. And that's how you're gonna end up having your net income. The difference between net income and gross income. The next, we are going to track and document monthly expenses. We'll look at budget leaks, okay? Like little areas that we don't know and the money just goes away. Other categories of budget, and where you are spending the most, where we ended up spending the most. Compare actual and planned spending. This is very important because it's gonna help you to examine your spending in detail. Compare income to expenses. We'll look at grouping expenses so that you understand how your income is being distributed amongst your different spending categories. What are some ways to decrease monthly expenses? And here we'll cover how to decrease expenses by looking for cheaper alternatives. What are some of the solutions? What are some of the things that I can do enable for me to help have that budget, that spending plan. Okay, so this is going to able to cover ways that we're able to control our personal finances. And the last thing that we're going to be covering is monitor your progress. We'll look at ways to keep on top of your finances and remaining in control of those. Okay, all right. Okay, so a lot of questions, sometimes a lot of confusion. Sometimes we don't know where to go or what to do. But one of the greatest satisfaction in life is having that sense of control. And that's what we are really bringing this information. Once you have that control, once you know what to do, you're going to feel more at ease. Why let your money control you when you can control that? When you can make changes and adjustments necessary, you're able to have that control of your financial situation. Very important, we need to have planning, but that planning has to be very careful, and use of money management techniques that we're going to be going over here today. You're going to feel more confident about your ability to live within your means. You're going to be able to handle emergencies. You're going to be able to reduce debt and save for the future. You can also enjoy the benefits that a controlled financial situation brings by using the money management tools that we're going to be sharing here today. Okay. Okay, so a lot of questions, a lot of information. Sometimes we will feel overwhelmed because we don't know what to do, especially when we are not in control of our situation. But once you are in control, you're going to feel less stressed and less worried about where the money and how we're going to be paying this and that. Okay, so where do I start? Okay. So as we just discussed, losing control of your finances can have negative effects, okay? That's why it's important to have that control. But it's also not having that control is not only going to have is going to have a situation in our money management, but it's also going to have it's going to also have an impact in our health and a lot of times in relationships too, okay? Because sometimes if we are in a partnership, if we have a partner, a spouse, or if we're sharing our finances with someone else, if someone is working hard to gain goals and the other person is not, then there's going to be a conflict on that relationship. So careful planning and money management tools can really help you to gain control of your financial situation. So, so you're going to feel more confident. You're going to be more knowledgeable, and you're going to be able to live within your means. Okay. Being aware of how much money comes into the household and how that money is being spent is the main key here. This is the main purpose of having a budget, okay? So our goal is to make you money conscious, okay? Being in control of your financial situation is going to allow you to pay your bills on time, okay? It's going to also able to allow you to achieve goals. It's going to help you reduce stress, which has a positive effect on your mental health. You are going to be able to save some money for an emergency, you know, having an emergency funds. Bills that are paid off is going to make you debt-free, and saving for long-term goals, such as maybe buying a car down, or maybe buying a home, or start saving for your children's college, or maybe saving for retirement, okay? So those are the things that we are going to be able to gain by really starting to know about our financial situation. Okay, so in here, and this information is in your workbook. So this information is in your work. So in able for you to gain control of your finances, you first need to know how much money your household is bringing. Now, before I continue, I like to, when I mention the word household, I always like to really make a point to tell my participants that you are all owners of a business. I am myself a business owner. We all own a business called household. Okay? There's no different from a friend of yours that may have a small restaurant, or maybe it has a hair salon or any other type of business. There's no difference between them and us. Why? Because a business owner has goals. We also have goals, okay? A business owner goals is probably be able to expand their business, be able to have income, to have earnings, being able to provide whatever service they're able to provide. We also have goals, and pretty much that goal is to really have financial stability, not only for ourselves, but also for our loved ones. Now, at the end of the day, the business owner has to go and see in their accounting, in their financial worksheets, and see how much money they earned that day, okay? And not only that, but also what bills they paid that day, or what items needs to be ordered for the following days. Who came to work today? Who's coming to work tomorrow? What inventory needs to be replenished? You know, what bills needs to be paid in the next few days? Well, we probably don't sit down every night just to see with our finances, but at least we need to sit down once a week. So when we sit down once a week, we need to go over our finances and see, okay, this week I did work and here's my payroll check. Or no, this week I didn't work, or this week I didn't get paid, or what was my earnings this past week? Oh, and the same time, okay, what bills I paid last week and what bills are coming up. So we don't need to take a lot of time to go over, but at least 15 to 30 minutes just to go over very quickly of what happened that week in our household, in our business called household, okay? So at the end, that business owner, if depending on what they're finding, that business owner is also going to do adjustments. And we also, by looking every week, by looking at the end of the month what happened, we also may need to do adjustments. And that's what we're going to be looking ahead when we do our balance, when we are balancing our budget sheet. So please keep in mind, you own a business called household, and we need to make sure that we manage those finances just like a business, just like a business. So here, we're gonna be determining a net income. Keep in mind that we have gross. Gross is the total amount that we earn, is the total amount that we use to file taxes. But the net income is the money that is left, is the money that it goes into our check after all the deductions are paid. So income, once again, income is any money that comes into the household after all the deductions are paid. And this example, what we are asking is, and you have this worksheet in your booklet, is that you need to write down all sources of paycheck, all sources of income, okay? Once again, gross monthly earned income is the income without any type of deduction, okay? Deduction is the money taken out of your paycheck for taxes, insurance, union dues, etc. Net income, the money that is left, okay, that we are left after all the deductions, other monthly income, and also any additional periodic income. And here under other monthly income, we ask you to add anything else, like for example, maybe child support, maybe an spouse support, maybe a disability check, food stamps, if we sell items on eBay or any other social media platform, if we rent to someone or sublease to someone, any other type of income that you may have, it is very important to put it under that income worksheet. And then the last thing that you see is a periodic income. And these are monies that they don't come monthly, but they may be additional monies coming in. And that's one of them, maybe sales, you know, like eBay or item sale on eBay or garage sales items or anything like that. So it's money that is not coming on a monthly basis, but it's periodically coming into the household, okay? And here, okay, all right. So here is just a practice, okay? And you can do that practice in your workbook. Oops, sorry. Okay, this is just a practice. The monthly gross was $1,800, and then minus all the deductions and the monthly net income ended up being, I believe, $1,900. Okay, all right. So just remember. So this is in your workbook. All right. So the next thing that we are going to look at now is tracking and documenting monthly expenses. So to gain financial control, it's important to know where your income is being spent. So where are all these expenses going? Where is the money and how much is being spent? So tracking expenses is going to make us aware of where and when your money is being spent. Budget leaks, okay? These are areas that you may be overspending without thinking, okay? And this happened to all of us. Additional budget categories, things that we may not have accounted for in the budget, okay? And we are spending it. So when you first start, it may tempt to write down what items you should be spending on. So try not to do this, okay? And go about spending as you normally do, okay? Especially to help you reach this. There is a form in the booklet, but there is also a worksheet extra that I attach, and it's called Daily Record of your expenditures. And this is a form that you can put in a very prominent place in your house. And that way, when you come in, or your partner or spouse or yourself, anybody who's spending money, then put it there. And then that way it can be written down and tracked down, okay? The main purpose of the tracker is to show you your spending habits and highlight the areas where we may be able to change that, okay? To may be able to change those, okay? All right, so, all right. So this is the worksheet that is in your booklet. It is in your workbook, but there is also an extra worksheet that I added, and that is the daily record of your expenditure. That one is from day 1. It has day 1 with all the columns, day 2, 3, all the way to the 15. And then the second sheet is the date 16 to the 31st. And that way, and it has all the items, but you can add items as you go along, okay? So this one in here has 2 kinds of tracking. One is the expense tracker for credit card. So every time you make a purchase using your credit card, you should record that, okay, on the sheet. So you will be very, you will be able to see quickly how many times, times a day are you using your credit card, what type of expenses, the amount of those expenses, etc. So you will also be able to see which of those purchases were essential, okay, like items that you really actually need, and which may be categorized as a non-essential items, okay? The other one that it says expense tracker, it's just to track your money, okay? Your money tracking sheet. So this section is for recording your cash transactions. Sometimes if you pay by debit card or if you're paying by cash, you know, especially when we carry cash in our wallet, it just goes so quickly, you know, $1 here, $1 there. So by us tracking that information and the amount, once again, it's able to tell us where the money is going and how much are we spending, okay? This, once again, is in your workbook, but I also attached the daily record of expenditure, okay? This is another tool that you'll see in your booklet, and this is the compare actual spending to what you think you're spending, okay? This is just an exercise for you to do. In this case, for example, in here, it says dinners out, that's number 5. So you may be able just to do this before you start tracking your expenses. So in here, you may be able to put down, okay, dinners out, I only spend $30 a month. So write it down. Gasoline, how much in gasoline or transportation on the bottom, number 14. Oh, well, I'm only spending $50 a month for gasoline and so forth. So go ahead and actually write down how much do you think you're spending. And once you have all your tracking, your daily tracking, then you will be able to compare and see, wow, I'm spending, I thought I was spending more in this category, but I ended up spending less. Or no, I thought I was spending less in this category and I'm overspending in that category. So it is an eye opener. It's an eye opener, okay? All right, so this is the budget worksheet that you also will have in your book, in your workbook, and you can find that on page 6 on your workbook. But I have also sent an extra worksheet, okay? An extra worksheet is exactly like that, okay? So in here, in this worksheet, you are going to now write down everything. You're gonna write down your current income, okay? Your current income, and then you are going to be able to use this worksheet because now you have a more accurate picture of your income. You have a more accurate information of all your expenses, because remember, we've been using all those other tools and sheets that I explained a few minutes ago. So this is the next step. This is now the steps for you to record your income and group your expenses in the entire budget worksheet, okay? So keep in mind, okay, so here it is. So keep in mind that, that the budget worksheet, the very top is all your income, the fixed expenses right here on this category that it says fixed expenses, that is going to be the expenses that they are monthly, but they don't change from month to month, okay? They are monthly, but they don't change from month to month. So for example, in here, you may be able to consider your rent, some utilities, like for example, maybe cable, phone, okay? Maybe daycare, donations to your religious or personal place of worship. And here maybe also a car payment if we have a car loan, automobile loan, okay? The second will be your variable expenses. Variable expenses are the expenses that change from month to month, but they are monthly, okay? And here you may be including utilities. You may also be including transportation, gasoline, maybe medications if they vary, okay? Very important in here is, and I know I get this question a lot. Well, fixed expenses are easy to really categorize because it's the same amount each month. But on variable expenses, they vary. So in here, what we need to do is we need to find the average. What is the average that I need to have every month to cover that specific expense? So for example, let's see that you have a bill that fluctuates. Let's see it's electricity, okay? So electricity fluctuates. So what you need to do is you need to find what is the average. One way to find the average is you need to look at your last 12 months payments, then add them up and divide them in 12. Or another way to find your average is finding the highest bill, the highest payment that you got, and the lowest payment that you pay during those 12 months, add them up and divide it in 2. By dividing in 2, it's going to give you your average. That is the amount that we need to put under our budget worksheet, okay? So if my average was $100, that means that every month I need to have $100, all right? What happened if the bill came this month for 60? Well, I'm gonna take 60, but I must leave those $40 under that category because down the road, my bill is gonna come for maybe 140 or 150, but out of my income, I only took 100. So in able for me to cover the whole entire bill, I need to use what is being left on that category. This is very important because this is the way that every item, every expense in our budget needs to be calculated, all right? We need to know that if we have $10 coming in, we need to know where each dollar of those $10 is going out, all right? So this is very, very important. All right, so then the last expense that you can see in here are your periodic expenses. Periodic expenses are the ones that they are not monthly. They are maybe yearly, twice a year, 3, 4, 5 times, 6 times a year, every other month. Examples in here may be school supplies, car maintenance, clothing, health and beauty items, cleaning supplies, etc. So in here, what we ask you to do is like, let's see, for example, you have a car maintenance, oil change. So let's see, you change your oil 4 or 5 times a year. So let's see that the total, just to make it easier in my head for the calculation, is that you spend $120 a year on oil change. Well, 120 divided in 12, because 12 every month out of that budget, then divided in 12, that's $10. So that means that in my budget worksheet, I need to assign $10 toward that oil change bill. So I'm saving little by little to cover that bill. That is how we calculate periodic expenses, okay? All right. So at the very end, the next step is that you are going to add all your fixed expenses. You're going to add all your periodic and all your, fixed expenses, all your flexible expenses, and all your periodic expenses. You are going to add all of those, okay? And you're going to, the last step is that you are going to take all your total income, okay? All your total income, and you're gonna subtract all your total expenses, all right? That result is what is gonna let us know, hey, where are we, okay? What is our financial situation? So by doing that, it's going to let us know if we are overexpending or underexpending. So if your result is positive, it means that we have a surplus, all right? But we need to ask some important questions in here. And some of those questions are, am I saving enough? Okay. Why do I have surplus? Why I have more income than expenses? Did I include all my bills? Am I paying more than the minimum in all my credit card bills? Am I saving enough money? Am I putting enough money in my emergency fund? Am I saving for my financial goals? Remember, we spoke about those financial goals last week. Do I have enough protection, like enough insurance protection, rental insurance, or any other type of insurance? Okay. So, but what happened if we have a deficit? What happened if we found out that now we are spending more of what we're earning? Well, and here we need to really start addressing where the money is going. Okay. Do I need to reduce some of my expenses? Do I need to increase my income? A lot of time it's really hard because we're already overworking. Maybe we can do a combination of both, you know, finding ways to bring extra money into our household by selling items, garage sales, you know, things like that. By decreasing expenses, then we need to look at all our expenses. We need to know how can I reduce expenses in my fixed expenses. So one of the ways to really look at it is you need to go over again in your worksheet and see which of those expenses are needs and which of those expenses are wants, okay? And at the same time, you want to, depending of your household, depending of your business household, you're also gonna look at your unique needs and ways that you can control those expenses, okay? You're also gonna be able to compare expenses, you know, by comparing, you know, services or contracts or things like that. So this is the one that I was just, what happened if my income was less than expenses. Okay, so here we're talking about reducing the fixed expenses. You need to factor all the costs, you know, shopping for the best rates, especially when we're talking about maybe contracts and things like that. Also knowing where to save on flexible expenses, you know, maybe eating out, how much, you know, can we save? And keep in mind that a lot of this expenses or adjustments don't have to be forever and ever. Just think about temporarily adjustments until everything gets all balanced, until all your budget is balanced, okay? Another way to save money is when you go to the grocery store, go with a list. Grocery shopping is the highest expense that families have. Planned meals. Gasoline, how do I save gasoline now that the gasoline is going higher in price? Try to schedule your trips. Try to, maybe for entertainment, try to do some things out in a park by taking your own picnic. Here are some, you know, some ideas that I was just telling you. So it is, you know, it is very personal. We're not here to judge or to, but you are the only person that needs to really identify, depending of your situation, depending of your household. Hey, what are the things that I can reduce? What are the things that I can control? Okay, because these are your goals. These are your personal goals. Okay. of when you come to reducing expenses. Here is reducing periodic expenses. You know, go with the list. Resist impulse buying. I mentioned some of the periodic expenses in this case are going to be clothing. There's going to be maybe clothing or health and beauty items, cleaning supplies, and things like that. The main thing is going with a list. It's very important. And before you go shopping, go and see what we have. See what you have in the refrigerator and in your pantry or in your closet or things like that. Because a lot of times we just go and buy because we just want to go and buy. Okay, so always shop with a list. Avoid sales. Okay, resist impulse buying, and avoid free samples. This is very true. Because sometimes, oh, this is good. Well, lately there's not being a lot of free samples, but free samples, they will come back. But once they let us try and say, this item is good, where do you have it? And we ended up buying it, and we were not even planning to buy it, okay? All right, so what we have done so far. And so we have been able to determine the net income. So how can you determine your net income? You have been able to know how to track and document monthly expenses, okay? We have gone over on how to create a budget and expending plans. We were able to determine by doing that budget and subtracting the expenses from the income, we have been able to determine if we have a surplus or we have a deficit. And we have also talked about how to adjust the budget, some ideas, and how to avoid, extra expending. So the numbers look right, but we may still find a little bit difficult to pay bills. Okay, so if that is the case, if we still have a little difficulty paying some of the bills, you need to know why. Why it's not working out? Well, maybe we're not managing that cash flow the right way, okay? Once you have enough money to cover your expenses, sometimes we have the money to cover it, we still might find it difficult. We still find it difficult to pay the bills on time, or maybe forget about it, or not, or maybe not being able to pay them correctly because the bill does not coincide with the payroll, with the monthly income or the paycheck. Okay, so for that, we have some ideas. Okay, these are possible solutions. One of those is the envelope method. And this is, a lot of times people ask me, my participants ask me and say, well, but I don't want to keep all that cash on my home. But this is just kind of like, imagine having this envelope, okay? Imagine having this envelope and label them, okay? And that way you're kind of keeping track, but you still have that money in the bank. Some other participants say, no, I have it on a safe place. I know what I'm paying and so forth. So the envelope method, it allows you to label each envelope with that expense. And then you need to divide the income amongst the various envelopes, okay? So let me give you an example. If I get paid twice a month and my rent is $500, then I need to know that on envelope number 1 rent for my paycheck, I have to put in there, imagine, $250. And then on my second paycheck, I have to have the $250 left. If my paycheck is weekly, okay, and my rent is $500, then $500 will be $125 on my first envelope. My second envelope from my paycheck, I'm going to put $125. for my second check, I'm going to put 125, and for my last check is 125. This is the way that we are managing the expenses and the income, okay? This is how we manage it to make sure that we cover everything with the money that we are getting. If we're getting only one check a month, then we know that we only will have one. So it is the same, it's just, we need to kind of build a little control in there. The calendar method, that's my favorite one. That's the one I personally use. And this is just, you can do it on a calendar that you keep at home, or your work agenda, or some type of calendar. And here what you're gonna do is that you're gonna mark your pay days, okay, and the days when your bills are due. So you get paid every other Monday, then you put payday, every other Monday. These bills are due. The rent is due on the 1st. The cell phone is due on the 15th. The car loan is due on the 20th, and so forth. And that way, it is a reminder of how much is coming in and how much money needs to go out, okay? The last one is just for some of you who are very, very good with financial softwares. Maybe an electronic software can help you organize your income and expenses. And then you keep track of that. Just like, once again, we're managing a business. We're managing a business. That doesn't have to take a long time, but we're managing how much money is coming out and where the money is going. Very important to monitor your progress. So to maintain control of your finances, you should at least once a week record and document your income and expenses. Please, once a week, 15 to 30 minutes max. Evaluate the totals for overspending and underspending in each category. Adjust projected amounts as needed to keep your budget balanced. Review your budget to see if you need to make changes. And yes, a lot of times we have to make little changes because items are going higher and higher in prices. So we need to adjust it. This is very important. We must include every member in the family. Why? Because the goals are not, especially if you have others with you. I have others with me. So it's very important there is a communication, especially when maybe a child, a loved one will say, oh, I would like to get a new pair of shoes. Well, you know what? This month is not in the budget, but in 2 months we can budget now, and then in 2 months we'll may be able to do it. So the communication has to be open, okay? Just imagine if you co-own a business with someone and that person comes and take money out of your drawer without telling you, or because something happened and then they took the money. No, there has to be an open communication. Include all your members of your family, okay? Give it a time and stick with it, all right? A budget may take some months to build, okay? Not just one day or 1 week, it takes, okay? And we always have to be adjusting that budget, all right? Okay, so here's for Q&As, and here's our website, moneymanagement.org. Phone number, it's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This was just a general information, but if you would like to talk to a counselor to really look at your personal situation and
oh no, I think we lost her. But hopefully she'll come back on. This is the phone number for the money management counselors. So if you really need help with managing your money and trying to put yourself on a place to manage your money, this is the number you can call. But you can also call me or email me, and I can help you with that as well.
Really
So we got you back. We had just lost you for a bit.
Yes, now I'm back. I'm back. So what I was saying, yeah, I'm back. I was trying to stop sharing. So the information here was general, but if you would like to talk to a counselor or be able confidential, free, more personalized, because each person is different. So here's the phone number, but let me stop share the screen. And
it is
so
for
we're
free.
here. Anyone has comments or questions or anything that they would like to share?
They're asking if it's for free, and I'm saying that it is for free, the service that you provide.
Yes, it is free. Yes, counseling, budget and credit counseling is free of charge, and it's available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Yes, yes. And it's personal and confidential. Yes.
And they're asking about another Zoom meeting. There is another one today at 1 with you in Spanish.
Yes, yes, 1 p.m., the same information, entire in Spanish, all worksheets in Spanish. Yes.
And that looks like the last of the questions. It looks like we did, you did such a good job that nobody has any questions. That's wonderful.
No, I hope everybody takes advantage of the information. And remember, all the worksheets that I mentioned, the workbook, don't worry, you're gonna get them, and then you're gonna be able. And then you can also go into our website and you can download extra information and resources about building your budget. So as long as you take advantage of all the tools that we're giving you here today for free.
Perfect. And if you didn't get a workbook, let me know and I'll email it out again. I sent it out with the link, but that doesn't mean that it may have gotten lost in the translation or something. I can always send you another one, okay? Mm-hmm. Thank you all for joining. We appreciate it. We'll see you soon. Have a great one.
All right. Stay safe and healthy.
Okay. Bye.